Everyone wants to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, and I don't blame them because it sounds perfect. But for most blokes watching this, trying to do both at the same time is exactly why you've been spinning your wheels for ages and starting and stopping without ever getting anywhere. I'm Ricky, I've been training for 23 years, and for the last 6 years I have been an online transformation coach, helping guys get into the absolute shape of their life without complication and overwhelm. So let's get into the video. So the guys that I have been working with over this last 6 years, and myself personally, the way we've got ourselves into fantastic shape is by doing things in the correct order, not looking to build fat, lose muscle at the same time. It's doing it the right way around, which in most cases is lose the fat first, then build the muscle. And why in that order? Because when you actually strip the body fat off, you will actually start to see the muscle that you've already got. So you'll actually look bigger by losing the fat in the first place. Because most men are actually carrying more muscle than they think, but at the moment it's just covered in a layer of fat. So pulling off that body fat first, revealing the physique you've already got, and then building from there is always the best way of doing things. Unless you are starting in a really lean position already, then you can really ramp things up and start to build muscle straight from the off, but that is not where most people are when they're starting out. And the lads that try to do both at the same time, they usually eat too much to actually lose any fat, but then not eat enough to actually build any muscle, or eat too much and put on too much body fat. And this is why they end up getting nowhere. So it's understanding what block you're in. If you are in a fat loss phase, like I said, which is usually the best starting point, accepting that you're there, pushing it, give yourself 12 weeks or so. Timelines will be different depending on how much body fat you do have to lose, but really commit to it. So the first thing that you want to do if you are going into a fat loss stage and you are pulling the body fat off, like I said, this is recommended. What you're going to do is you are going to find out your maintenance calories. So roughly that is how much do you weigh in kilos, multiply that by 30. That's roughly going to give you your maintenance calories. Take 500 from that, and that is going to be your starting point. With this as well, you want to be making sure you're getting enough protein. So again, take your weight in kilograms, times that by 2, and that's a good starting point for your protein as well. Then when it comes to lifting in the gym, you want to be pushing yourself, you want to be lifting as hard as you can, and each session you go in, you want to be trying to add a little bit more weight or an extra rep, so you're building that up over time. Now, when you are in a fat loss phase, sometimes you're not always going to be able to progress that logbook, but that should always be the target, whether you're in a muscle building phase or whether you are in a fat loss phase. So one goal in order, that should always be the key. And the reason people hate that and hate the reality of that is because they think I can only do one thing at a time, when the overall goal is to be leaner, to be more muscular, to be bigger. But like I say, when you do lose that body fat first and you are training in this way and you're getting this protein, and you are actually going to look bigger because the muscle that you already have is going to be revealed, because as you're pulling the body fat off, you will retain the majority of the muscle that you do have. When you are doing both at the same time, or aiming to do both at the same time, it does feel like you're winning on both fronts, but it is usually a slower way of getting there. So for me, and the way I set it out for most of my clients and the way I do it myself, is fat loss first, get that absolutely nailed, and then start to build from there. And that is how you are going to transform your physique this year. Now, luckily for you, I have got all of this laid out: how to work out your nutrition, there's a training plan, lifestyle factors, how to work out your steps, how to work out your cardio, all of that stuff I have put into a physique transformation guide, which is linked in the description. So hit that, get that downloaded, and if you don't already, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.